Tonight, we're leaving the rest of the world behind to step into the hollow Antarctic wastes. We're traveling to a place where the map ends and the nightmare begins. A jagged piece of rock and ice known as Outpost 43. Out here, the cold does more than just freeze your body. It gets into your head. In a place like this, you learn early on that you can't always trust your eyes or your ears. Sometimes, the ice plays tricks on you. And sometimes, something out there is just waiting for you to look away. 7 men remain on the ice tonight. 7 heartbeats. 7 voices on the radio. Outpost 31 stopped transmitting 2 days ago. No distress call, no final log, just silence. Out here, survival depends on trust, on knowing the man standing next to you is still the man you shared a meal with yesterday. But when who goes there stops being a challenge and starts becoming a habit, trust becomes the first thing to freeze. Before we continue, if these transmissions keep you company out here in the dark, consider liking and subscribing. It's the only sign we have that the signal is still reaching someone beyond the ice. And if you want to help keep the generators running through the long night, you'll find ways to support the project in the description. We're about to step into a camp where survival depends less on strength than it does recognition. A place where once doubt sets in, familiarity has already taken hold. In places like this, the end doesn't arrive screaming. It arrives quietly, pretending to belong. Now, turn off the lights and settle in. The transmission starts now. Outpost 43, June 16th, 1982. This is Senior Field Tech Eric Halverson. The sky finally ran out of breath tonight. The storm that's been hammering us for the last 48 hours has officially moved off towards the coast. I just stepped out onto the observation deck. The air's so cold it feels like breathing broken glass, but the stars are out. For the first time in 2 days, I can actually see perimeter lights through the haze. The base held up well. A few rattled window panes and a lot of snow to shovel, but the power's holding steady. Most of the crew's already back at it. Some are down in the crawl spaces checking the heater lines. Others in the galley trying to make sense of our rations. Routine stuff. Even our livestock project made it through. I can hear chickens clucking to the vents from the coop wing. I think they're more relieved the wind stopped rattling their cages than we are. Patrick Castleholm, our senior meteorologist, says the residuals from the storm's tail are still playing hell with the long-range frequencies, though. We're in a bit of a localized blackout for the moment. Patrick's been trying to get a clear patch to the mainland, but we're just getting a lot of atmospheric bounce. Could explain why we still haven't been able to raise Outpost 31. We've tried the shortwave every hour on the hour. Nothing but static. Patrick thinks the interference is sitting right between us and them, but I don't like it. Those guys at 31 are professionals, and they should have cleared their array by now. If we don't hear a peep out of them by the midnight check-in, we aren't waiting. We'll have to put a team out and make the trek over there to see what stalled them. I've still got about 6 hours of data logging to catch up on before the shift ends. Halverson out.
Eric, you there? Tell me you're looking at the fuel gauges in the comms room and they're not as low as the ones down here in the crawl space.
I'm here, Daniel. Gauges are fine. You're probably looking at the auxiliary tank for the south wing. The storm rattled the float sensor again. Just give the casing a good kick. It'll reset.
Yeah, well, kicking it's about all the engineering I've got left in me tonight. It's a swamp down here. The heat trace lines are sweating and I'm pretty sure I'm breathing more diesel fumes than oxygen. Tell Morales to save a double ration of whatever he's burning in the kitchen.
I'll pass it along. Just don't blow us up before dinner. Is the shortwave array getting enough juice? I still can't get a response from 31.
The array's humming. If they aren't answering, it's not on our end. Maybe their antenna snapped and they're too busy playing chess to go fix it. I'm heading over to the coop wing to check the ventilation before I wash up. Hernandez out.
Eric? If Daniel's coming this way, tell him to bring a flashlight. The overheads in the back of the coop are flickering and the hens are getting flighty. I think the storm put a dent in the external shielding.
Copy that, Magnus. He's already on the way. How's our livestock experiment going? Any eggs for the morning?
6 today. A miracle, honestly. They're tougher than the men in this station. But tell the others to stay out of here. I'll talk to you at the midnight check-in.
Outpost 31, this is Outpost 43. Calling on the primary emergency frequency. 31, do you copy? Over. 31, this is Halverson at 43. Still have a localized blackout on our end, but the storm has cleared the ridge. If you're receiving this, give us a short counter-carrier wave. We just want to make sure your array didn't take a dive during the whiteout. Over. Nothing. Patrick, copy? You see any movement on the spectrum? Any spike at all?
Dead air, Eric. Not even a blip. The atmosphere is still thick as soup, but honestly, we should be getting something from their beacon by now.
Copy that. 31, we're standing by on this frequency. We'll try you again at the top of the hour. 43 out.
Eric, it's Dr. Klein. Tell me you've got a moment, or at least a working thermostat. My lab is sitting at 48 degrees, and my cultures are going to start hibernating if Hernandez doesn't fix the south wing blower.
Evening, Doc. Daniel's already in the crawl spaces. The storm did a number on the external vents, but he's working his way towards you. Is it just the heat, or do you have something for the log?
Just a reminder, if the power fluctuates again like it did earlier, I'm going to lose stability on the centrifuge. I heard you were trying to raise 31 earlier. Any luck?
Not a word. Patrick thinks it's atmospheric. Why? You think it's something else?
I think in this weather, equipment fails, but usually over at 31, they're better at housekeeping than this. If their beacon's down, it means they're running on backup or they've got a localized disaster on their hands. If we don't hear from them soon, I'd like to be on the scout team. I've got some vaccines that were supposed to be transferred to their med bay anyway.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves, Bob. We'll give him a few more hours. Go bug Morales for some coffee. He's got the heater in the galley cranked up to about 80.
Morales, the only man that can make a blizzard feel like a summer. I'll see if I can bribe him for a cup. Let me know when the second south wing heat comes back online. Eric, you copy? It's Thomas Reed. Tell me you got better news than I do, because my afternoon was spent looking at a sonar screen that looks like a blank sheet of paper.
Still nothing from 31, Tom. Patrick says the sky's almost clear, but the ionosphere is still acting like a lead curtain. What's going on with the subsurface sensors?
Well, that's just it. Nothing. Storm must have pushed the local pods further out to the shelf. I got hydrophones at 3 different depths, and I'm not even picking up leopard seals. It's like the whole coast just went quiet. It's eerie, even for June.
Well, maybe they got more sense than us and headed north for the winter.
Smartest things on the continent if they did. Listen, I've logged the salinity and the pressure readings for the day. If you manage to get a line through to the mainland, make sure my department gets the priority burst. My grant holders get twitchy if they don't see numbers every 48 hours.
I'll add it to the queue, Tom. Go get someone whatever Morales is calling dinner. I think he's trading coffee for candy bars if you're desperate.
I already checked. He's holding out for a Hershey's with almonds or a Snickers or something, and I'm not that hungry yet. Well, help Lindholm check the coop heaters. I think the chicken's the only things left in this sector besides us. I'll see you at the midnight check-in. Eric, you receiving me, or is the radio room buried in snow?
I'm here, Jack. Loud and clear. What's the status for the Morales 5-star cafe tonight?
It's a disaster is what it is. I've got Hernandez complaining about the flavor of water, and Lindholm is practically sleeping in the coop wing next to the chickens. Trying to scratch the fresh greens we have left, but if we don't get a supply drop scheduled before long, Everyone's going to be eating vitamin paste by next week.
We're all feeling the pinch, Jack. The storm just cleared. Give the logistics guys a break. Did you manage to find that extra case of heaters?
Yeah, I found them. Tucked behind the dry storage. Gave one to Doc Klein. He was vibrating so hard from the cold I thought he was going to shatter. Listen, tell the boys that dinner's ready in 20 minutes. If they're late, I'm scraping the leftovers into the waste disposal, and they can wait for breakfast. I'm not keeping the stove out all night just because Castleholm is staring at the clouds.
Copy that. I'll put it out over the PA. Oh, and Jack, Reed's looking to trade a candy bar for some of the good coffee. You interested?
Tell Reed, if it's a Snickers, we can talk. Anything else, he's drinking the decaf floor sweepings like everyone else. Morale is out.
Still nothing. I've been sitting here for the last 20 minutes, just staring at the frequency dial on the shortwave. Every time the static dips, I think I hear a carrier wave or the ghost of a voice. But it's just atmospheric bounce. Patrick, our meteorologist, says the sky's clear enough to see the satellites, yet Outpost 31 remains a total blackout. It's a strange feeling, being this close to people on a map and having them feel like they're on another planet. In a place like this, you start to measure your life by the small sounds. Right now, if I listen to the ducks, I can hear the scratching of Lindholm's chickens. It's the most domestic, ridiculous sound in the world for a place where the temperature's 60 below. But those chickens of his, they're the heartbeat of this place. Something grounding about waking up to a fresh egg when you're living in a tin can at the end of the earth. It's Magnus's pride and joy. His way of proving that life doesn't just survive out here. It can actually settle in. I look at the crew and I see 7 different ways of handling the isolation. You got Patrick Castleholm sitting in the Met office, surrounded by charts and barometers, trying to find logic in a sky that doesn't have any. He's the most patient man I've met, but I can see him checking the clock more often tonight. There's Daniel Hernandez. I can hear him somewhere on the floors below me, clanking on pipes, smelling like grease and solder. He's the reason the ice hasn't swallowed us yet. He keeps the cold at bay, one heater trace at a time. Dr. Klein, probably still in his lab, fastidious as ever. He's a man of science who hates disorder, which is likely why he's fuming that his vaccines are sitting in a cooler instead of being halfway to 31's med bay. Thomas Reed, a man who loves the sea, but out here the sea's a tomb. Spends his day listening to ice growing through hydrophones, waiting for a whale or a seal to say something. Anything. Prove we're not the only things left on the coast. Jack Morales in the galley, acting like he's the world's grumpiest chef, but he's the one who makes sure Klein doesn't freeze, or that Reed has enough coffee to keep his eyes open. We're a strange, fragile little family. 7 men, a few dozen chickens, and enough supplies to last the winter, provided the world doesn't decide to stop talking to us for good. Storm's gone, wind's dying down. Yet, silence coming out of that radio speaker's louder than the gale was. It's just us, Outpost 43, a lone spark in a very big, very dark room. I'm going to try the emergency band one more time. If it's still static, well, we'll cross that bridge when I get to it. Halverson out.
Eric, you got a minute? I'm looking at the latest satellite sweeps and the local telemetry.
Go ahead, Patrick. Tell me you found a massive interference sitting right over 31's antenna.
That's the thing, I haven't. The residuals have completely flatlined. The sky's clear from here to the Ross Ice Shelf. High pressure, zero interference, and magnetics are as stable as they've been all month. Technically speaking, we should be able to hear a pin drop right now.
So, if the air is clear and our gear is green,
then their gear is red. Hard red. Eric, I've run every diagnostic I have. I even bypassed the main array and went straight to auxiliary beacon frequencies, and nothing. If they had so much as a handheld emergency radio working over there, I'd be picking up the carrier wave. It's not the weather, Eric, it's them.
Maybe the storm hit them harder. If they've lost their main roof or the generator shed took a hit.
Maybe, but They have redundancies for their redundancies. To go this dark, this fast, it doesn't sit right with me. I'm looking out my port window now. The horizon towards the east is pitch black, and there's no reason for that signal to be dead. I think we've reached the end of wait and see.
I hear you. If we don't get a ping shortly, I'll have a talk with the guys. We can't just sit here and wonder if they're freezing to death 40 miles away.
I'll keep the monitors open, but don't hold your breath. I'll talk to you soon.
Field note. You heard him. The weather's perfect, the sky's empty, and Outpost 31's still a ghost. I don't like it. Out here, silence isn't just a lack of noise, it's a warning. It's the sound of something gone wrong. I'm going to head down to the garage and see if Hernandez has the transport warmed up. If we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. I'll bring Reed, maybe Dr. Klein. If there's trouble over there, we'll need the specialized hands. I'll keep the recorder running for the log. If anyone's listening back at mainland, just hope we're overreacting to a broken antenna. Doc, you in there? Grab your field kit. We're heading out.
I heard Castleholm's report over the sub-channel. I've already got the medical trunk packed. If 31 is down, it's either a total power failure or a viral outbreak. I'm not walking to either one empty-handed. Have you told Hernandez?
Daniel's already in the garage prepping the treads. He's staying back to mine the heaters here, but he's got the transport fueled and idling. We're taking Reed with us. I want a second set of hands for the heavy lifting.
I'm here. I've got the long-range flares and the thermal imaging gear. If their lights are out, we're going to need more than just flashlights to see what we're walking into.
Good. Listen up. It's a 40-mile trek. In this light, that's about a 2-hour crawl across the shelf. Patrick's going to stay on the horn here at 43, but if he hears so much as a click from 31, he'll relay to our mobile unit.
And Morales?
Jack's still in the galley. He's keeping a pot of coffee warm for us and the heater's at max. He knows if we're not back by 0400, he triggers the emergency beacon.
Well, let's hope it doesn't come to that. The ice is quiet tonight, though. Too quiet.
Well, let's not keep the silence waiting. Load up.
This is Halverson, portable recorder. We're heading out. Myself, Dr. Klein, and Reed. Lights of Outpost 43 are behind us now. Another 5 miles, they'll be gone entirely. It's just us and the headlights cutting through 1,000 miles of black. If you're listening, stay close to the signal. We'll check in from the mobile unit once we hit the perimeter of Outpost 31. Halverson out. Jack, you there? I'm in the North Junctions. Tell me you're seeing the pressure stabilize on your kitchen monitors.
It's up, Daniel. It's still fluctuating, but I've got a pilot light in here, jumping like a nervous kid. What's the situation in the crawl space?
Ice, same as always. A seal on the secondary blower cracked during the storm, and it's just been sucking in the frost. I've got it patched with some thermal tape for now, but it's a temporary fix. My fingers are so numb I can barely feel my wrench. Hey Jack, tell me there's something hot waiting for me when I climb out of here.
I got a fresh pot of coffee. The real stuff. I traded Reed for it before he left, and I'm still thinking about cracking into Lindholm's stash. He left the coop keys on the hook. I figure since he's not here to count the chickens, 1 or 2 of those eggs might go missing in the name of morale.
You're a brave man, Morales. Magnus finds out you're poaching his experiments, he'll feed you to the leopard seals. But God, a fresh fried egg right now. I might actually survive the night.
Just get things stabilized. If the kitchen drops below 40, the grease is going to congeal in the pipes, and then nobody's eating. I'll have the skillet ready in 10 minutes. Oh, and Daniel.
Yeah?
Keep your radio on. With everyone gone, it's a little too quiet in the galley. I don't like the way the shadows are stretching tonight.
Copy that. Just focus on the eggs, Jack. I'll come up soon. This is Eric Halverson.
transmitting on portable. We've arrived at Outpost 31. Something happened here. I'm standing in what used to be the main compound, but the map doesn't match the horizon anymore. It's gone. Just a skeleton of twisted blackened steel reaching out of the drifts. Smell's the first thing that hits you, even in the cold. It's not just wood and diesel. I can taste the soot. There's no sign of anyone. No voices, no movement. Just wind flapping a piece of torn corrugated tin against a frozen pipe. It clangs like a funeral bell. I've known the pilot here, R.J. McCready, for 5 years. He's flown me over the glaciers more times than I can count. He's a cynic and a drunk, but he's the best pilot out here. Seeing his shack like this, it's wrong. Found his chess computer, or what's left of it. It's in the middle of the debris, melted into a lump of plastic and wires like it was caught in a blast furnace. I remember him complaining about that machine. Never thought I'd see it look like a piece of charcoal. Dr. Klein is over by the infirmary, or what was the infirmary. He's just standing there, looking at medical logs we pulled out of a fireproof cabinet. He's confused. He keeps muttering about blood waste levels and missing plasma bags. Says the records don't make sense, like someone was running experiments they didn't want recorded. Found a petri dish over there that's been shattered, but the glass isn't blackened by fire. Looks like it was broken from the inside. And the dogs, we found the kennel. They didn't just die in the fire, they were torn. Something ripped through chain link like wet paper. There are things in the snow here that don't look like any animal I've ever seen. Charred, multi-limbed things. They looked like several creatures fused together in a panic and frozen mid-scream. I've spent time on and off in the Antarctic for the last decade, and I don't have a name for what I'm looking at. Reed's helping me load what we can salvage. We're being thorough. We've got a crate of hard drives from the lab, some 3/4-inch pneumatic videotapes, and a box of audio reels. I found a stack of them in a half-buried footlocker, McCready's personal journals. I haven't played them yet. I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to hear the voice of a man who might be part of an ash pile out here. We're taking everything, every scrap of data, every bit of food that isn't scorched, even some torn clothing we found snagged on a perimeter fence. It's all going in the back of the transport. We need answers, and right now, the silent graveyard here is the only place giving them. We even found an old kerosene heater that looks intact and a few crates of canned peaches. Feels like grave robbing, but we need the supplies at 43. The most unsettling thing, there are tracks. Not human, not dog, just indentations in the crust that lead away from the fire and stop. Like whatever made them simply walked into the air, or like the snow filled in behind them too fast to follow. We're loading up. We aren't staying here a second longer than we have to. This place gives me the creeps. Feels like it's watching us. Like the silence is waiting for me to turn my back. I keep looking over my shoulder, expecting to see Mac or Child standing in the doorway of a building that isn't there anymore. But there's nothing. Just ice. We're heading home. Outpost 43, if you're receiving this, keep the lights on. We're coming in heavy. We're bringing back some of the wreckage of 31 with us. And I have a feeling the night's just getting started. Halverson out. Outpost 43, this is Reed on mobile. South Bay garage doors back from 31. Someone get the lift ready. We're coming in heavy with a lot of gear that can't stay out in sub-zero. Eric wants all the technical salvage moved straight to the comms room immediately. The mains hard drives, the pneumatics, footlocker of audio reels. He doesn't want them sitting in the cold. Tell Castleholm to clear off his desk. We're bringing 31's entire history back with us. And tell Morales to get his gear on and get out to the bay. We managed to pull crates of canned goods and dry rations from what was left of their pantry. It's a lot of weight. We need to get it inventoried and into warm storage before the seals freeze shut. Just get some of you down here to help us unload. Dr. Klein's already heading for the med bay with the logs he found. He doesn't look good. Hasn't said a word since we left. Just someone get the doors open. We're tired. We're freezing, and we want to get inside. 43, we're home. Open up. Read out. We're back. Transport's in the bay. Garage doors are shut, bolted and sealed. Outside, the Antarctic's quiet as a tomb, but inside, feels like the air's put on 20 pounds. Morales and Hernandez are in the storage wing sorting through the food crates we brought back. It's strange. You'd think the guys would be happy about the extra rations, but nobody's talking. They're just moving with their heads down and working in a silence that's starting to get under my skin. Even the chickens in Lindholm's coop have gone quiet. Not a peep out of them since we hauled the crates past their vents. Dr. Klein's locked himself in the med bay with the 31 logs. He didn't even stop for coffee. He just took the files, went into his office, and I haven't seen him since. On my desk, right here in front of me, salvage. Stack of hard drives that look like they've been through a war and a footlocker full of McCready's journals. I'm looking at his handwriting on the labels. It's messy and rushed. I can almost see him sitting in that shack of his with a glass of scotch in one hand and a recorder in the other. My plan's simple. Should be. It's the only plan I have. Patrick Castleholm and I are going to work and daisy chain these drives. If the data's intact, maybe we can see what their weather sensors were picking up in their last hours. Maybe there's a pattern we missed. Reed's going to help me go through the 3/4-inch videotapes once we get the play deck warmed up. We're looking for anything. A breach in the perimeter, a localized accident, freak weather event. Anything that explains why 10 men and a pilot vanished. I'm staring at the first reel from Mac's locker. My hand's been hovering over the play button for the last couple minutes. Part of me needs to know. I need to hear his voice, hear the truth of what happened out there, but another part of me is terrified of what he has to say. Because if a man like McCready couldn't handle whatever hit Outpost 31, what chance do the 7 of us have here at 43? I'll start with the data first, then I'll look at the numbers. I'll try to stay objective. We can all pretend this is another technical failure until the evidence tells us otherwise. I'm going to take a moment. Then I'll start digging into the ghost of Outpost 31.
Eric, pick up. We got a problem with the salvage.
I'm here, Daniel. I thought we were done unloading. What is it now?
It was the dry goods crate. The one we pulled from the 31 pantry. We just cracked the seal to start the inventory, and as soon as the lid popped, a damned rat bolted right out of the strop packing. Must have been huddled deep in those 31 supplies the whole ride over in the transport.
A rat? From 31? I didn't think anything over there was still breathing, let alone a rodent.
Well, this one's very much alive. It moved like a streak of gray light straight out of the crate, ran across the bay floor and right into the south vent. Magnus was right there moving a tray of feed, and the thing nearly ran over his boots. It's in the chicken coop wing now. Magnus is losing his mind. He's down there with a flashlight and a heavy broom trying to flush it out before it starts nesting in the hay or getting into the chicken's water.
Tell Magnus to settle down. It's a stray rodent, Daniel, not a structural failure. I'll send someone down with traps once I've cleared these logs.
He's not settling down, Eric. He's furious that we brought infested junk into his clean zone. He's worried about contamination. And honestly, I don't blame him. That thing was fast, even for a rat. Keep your eyes open. Got a 31 stowaway loose out here. Hernandez out.
A rat. Suppose I shouldn't be surprised. I don't care where you are in the world, a luxury hotel in London or a research station in Antarctica, you'll find rats. They're the ultimate survivors. Sometimes they hitch a ride on supply ships or they hide in grain bins. They find a way to thrive in dark corners where nobody thinks to look. As for Lindholm's hens, he's worked too hard on that study to have a stray rodent mess things up. But if a rat in the coop's the worst thing we brought back from that graveyard, I'd say we got lucky. Still, I'll have Daniel set some snap traps. We can't have pests chewing through the wiring while we're trying to figure out these hard drives. One thing at a time. First, the ghost of McCready. Then we'll deal with the rat. I've been going through these logs. I haven't touched the personal journals yet. I've started with the technical data. The things McCready and their biologist Blair were pulling from the Norwegian camp. Apparently, the guys at 31 spent some time over there before the end. They found something in the ice. Something the Norwegians dug up. I'm looking at a printout of a computer simulation Blair was running. It's cold. Mathematical. Talks about biological assimilation. Some kind of projection model. Shows a hypothetical organism, something that can mimic cellular structures at a rate that doesn't make sense. Simulation shows this thing hitting a population center. According to Blair's math, if this thing ever reached the mainland, it would take over the entire planet in less than 3 years. 27,000 hours to be exact. This has to be a simulation for a viral outbreak. Has to be. Maybe the Norwegians thought out some prehistoric strain of meningitis or a localized flu that the human immune system has no map for. Something so aggressive, it looked like a takeover to a man like Blair who'd been stuck on the ice too long. Looking at the notes McCready took, he mentions Norwegians went through some kind of mass psychosis. Burned their own camp to the ground to stop the spread. Sounds like a virologist's worst nightmare. A contagion that hits the brain as hard as the body. Then, there's other notes. References to a craft, an excavation site. Maybe that's what happened to 31. They went to help the Norwegians, brought back a sample of something, some ancient dormant pathogen, and it just tore through them. It would explain the madness. It would explain why Dr. Klein's currently staring at those medical logs like they're written in a dead language. If the cells were changing, the blood test would be a mess. I need to get deeper into the audio reels. McCready wasn't a scientist, he was a straight shooter. If there was a leak, he'd say it. If people were getting sick, he'd record it. I'll start the next reel soon. I'd like to find the moment the sickness started. Halverson out.
Eric, you still alive in there? I've got the coffee on. I'm about to pull the first batch of Magnus's eggs off the heat. You better get to the galley before the boys realize I actually cooked for them. They'll be gone soon. Seriously, come eat. You looked like hell when you got back.
I'm coming, Jack. Let me finish labeling this reel. Just save me a plate.
No promises. These things are like gold. See you in 5.
Eric, get down to the garage. Now.
Hernandez, what is it? I was just heading to the galley.
Forget breakfast. Someone just trashed the transport. I came in to do the morning fluid check and the main ignition harness is shredded. It's not just a break either, it is destroyed. And the radio unit, the mobile one we used to talk at 31, it's been ripped out of the dash. The wires are pulled like someone was looking for something inside the casing.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a rat.
A rat doesn't rip a radio out of a steel mount. It took force. We're grounded. Till I can find spare copper leads and rewire the entire ignition, this vehicle's not going anywhere.
All right, I'm heading down. Daniel sounded spooked about the transport, and if we're truly grounded, I need to see the damage for myself. I'll keep my portable on me, but for now, I'm locking the reel-to-reel in the cabinet. I don't want...
Eric! Are you there? Jack was at the stove. He cracked one of the eggs from the coop into the pan, and it didn't cook. The second it hit the heat, it screamed. I'm not losing my mind. The damn yolk opened up and shrieked at us.
Patrick, what are you talking about? I thought you guys were eating.
It jumped right out of the grease. It hit the floor and unfolded. It started into this pulsing red blob of muscle and hair. It grew these wet legs in seconds. It bolted right through the galley door. It didn't just run. It looked like it was hunting for a way out. It's in the south corridor now, heading toward the laundry block. Morales is white as a sheet, and he's just staring at the empty pan. Eric, whatever that rat did in the chicken coop, it wasn't just nesting. It got into the birds. It's in the food.
An egg? Patrick, you're telling me a breakfast egg ran away?
We've locked the galley doors, but the vents are still open. We're all moving to the rec room for now.
Danny, you there? I just got off the horn with Patrick. He's telling me an egg jumped out of the skillet and ran into the vents. Tell me he's losing it. Tell me you didn't see that.
I wish I could, Eric. I was standing by the coffee urn when it happened. It didn't just hop either. It shredded itself. It looked like a piece of raw muscle that forgot it was supposed to be a yolk. Had these little hair-like legs. I've never seen anything move like that. It was halfway down the hall before Jack even dropped the pan.
Dear God. All right, listen. Stay away from the vents. What about the transport? Any luck with the ignition?
That's why I reached out. I was digging around the floorboards near the pedals looking for the wires where they were clipped, and I found something tucked under the driver's seat. It's a specialized thermometer, digital, high precision. Has Magnus Lindholm etched into the casing.
Magnus? Why would his gear be in the transport?
How should I know? Maybe he was furious that the infested rat crate came back from 31. Thinks we compromised his life's work. Came in here and trashed the harness to make sure we don't bring anything else back. I don't know. He's a fanatic about those birds, Eric. Maybe he sabotaged us to protect them.
Magnus, you copy? It's Eric. I'm hearing things about the South Corridor, but Daniel says...
He killed them. That animal killed them all.
Whoa, Magnus. Calm down. Who killed what?
Hernandez. I came in here to check the nesting heat, and half my flock is gone, Eric. Torn apart. There's blood on the walls, feathers everywhere. And you know what I found right in the middle of the carnage? A heavy-duty, adjustable wrench. The kind mechanics use. The kind Dan uses.
A wrench? Magnus, Daniel says he found your thermometer in the transport. He thinks you sabotaged the transport.
Of course he'd say that. He's trying to cover his tracks. He hated that I complained about the 31 salvage. He came in here to clean my coop with a wrench and a grudge. My birds are slaughtered, Eric. They're not just dead, they're empty. Something scooped them out. If I see him, I swear to God.
Magnus, just stay put. Don't leave the coop. I'll come down there. I'm sitting here, and the math of this base doesn't add up anymore. 10 minutes ago, we were worried about a radio signal. Now the station's splitting down the middle. Hernandez is in the bay holding a digital thermometer with Magnus's name on it, swearing the old man trashed the transport out of some spiteful sanitary crusade. And Magnus is in the coop, standing in a pile of feathers and blood, holding a mechanic's wrench he found next to his slaughtered birds. Somebody's lying. One of them's lying to my face, or they're both telling the truth and we have a ghost in the machine. But ghosts don't use wrenches, and ghosts don't need to sabotage a transport ignition. And then there's the egg. Patrick saw it. Morales saw it. Piece of breakfast that didn't want to be eaten. Whatever it was came from the coop. Then Magnus's chickens were already changed before they were killed. So did Hernandez go in there to stop a spread? Did he go in there to hide evidence? Or did Magnus trash the transport because he knew what was coming out of those hens and didn't want us to leave? It's the 31 infection. It has to be. It's not just a rat. It's a seed. We brought it home in the crates. We invited it into our kitchen. Now it's playing us against each other. I'm looking at the hallway. It's a straight line from here to the galley and another to the coop, but it feels like miles. Every door I have to pass is a gamble. Every person I talk to is a question mark. I'm going to take the flare gun and go to the coop first. I need to see that wrench. I need to see if the blood on the floor belongs to chickens or something else entirely. If this is a prank, it's the most elaborate psychotic thing I've ever seen. And if not, maybe that rat's not the only stowaway here at Outpost 43. Orson out.
Entry for the log. On my portable, I'm in the coop wing. And my God, this smell. It's not just the birds, it's that same metallic copper tang from Outpost 31. Magnus wasn't exaggerating. It's a slaughterhouse. But he was wrong about one thing. This wasn't done with a wrench. I'm looking at one of the hens now. It hasn't been hit, it's been unzipped. Its rib cage is pulled outward like a pair of wings, and the inside is just a hollow cavity of black, stringy fibers. And the wrench? I found it. It's sitting in a pool of what I thought was blood, but it's not flowing, pulsing. Every time I move my flashlight, the blood on the floor seems to retract like it's shy of the light. I'm done guessing. I'm done playing detective with Hernandez and Magnus while this thing settles in. I'm going back to the booth. I need to hear what McCready found, because whatever's happening here,
It started there. I'm locking this wing from the outside. Nothing gets out. Reed, you receiving? I just got back to the booth. Pick up. It's urgent.
I'm here, Eric. I'm over here with Castle Home. What'd you find?
Listen to me carefully. I want you to find Hernandez and Magnus. Right now. I don't care if they're screaming at each other or at you. You get them both to the break room. Clear the tables. Give them some coffee. Tell them it's for their own safety. Standard protocol. I don't care what lie you use, but don't let them leave the room. They're under quarantine until I say otherwise.
Quarantine? Eric, those two are ready to kill each other. You put them in a room together and...
Then you stay at the door. Watch them. If either of them tries to walk out, you stop them. We have a biological breach, Tom. It was in the livestock, and if it was in the livestock, it could be in us. I'm heading to chemical storage. I'm grabbing the fuel siphons. I'm going to burn that chicken coop to the ground. Every feather, every scrap of hay, every drop of blood in that wing goes to ash. Once the fire's set, I'm locking myself in the booth. I got to finish McCready's tapes from start to finish. I got to find out how do we stop this before we end up like Outpost 31. Do it, Reed. Now. I've listened to half the reels. I've been sitting here in the dark listening to R.J. McCready talk to a recorder while his world turned into a slaughterhouse. I was wrong. It's not a virus. It's not madness. It's an intruder. An organism that doesn't just kill you. It becomes you. It hides in your skin, speaks with your voice, and waits till you're alone, and turns your ribcage into a mouth. Hearing McCready describe the dog kennel and seeing what happened to their biologist, Blair, makes a screaming egg in our kitchen look like a mercy. McCready knew. He knew that if even one cell of that thing got out, it was over for everybody. And I brought a whole crate of it into our home. I looked at the wrench in the coop again before I locked the doors. It wasn't just sitting there. The blood around it was trying to mimic the cold steel of the tool. It's learning. It's studying us. It played Hernandez and Magnus against each other because it knows that as long as we're pointing fingers at each other, we're not pointing a flamethrower at it. But that ends now. I've got Reed holding two of them in the break room. I don't know if either of them is still them. I don't even know if Reed is. But I know where the heart of the rot is. It's in that coop. It's in the straw and feathers and the things that used to be Magnus's pride and joy. McCready's last few tapes, he sounds like a man who's already accepted he's a ghost. Talks about the cold being something that slows it down and fire the only thing that stops it. I'm heading back down there with the fuel siphons. I'm going to douse every inch of that wing in kerosene and light a match. I don't care about the livestock study. I don't care about the station's structural integrity. I'm going to turn that part of Outpost 43 into a furnace. If McCready's right, we're already in a race. And right now, we're losing. Halverson out. Klein, you receiving? Looking at weather reports on the ice building, the primary array is getting critical. If those sensors freeze over, we aren't just deaf, we're blind.
I know, Eric. I was out there an hour ago. The rime ice is 3 inches thick on the base of the mast. I've already prepped the equipment in the chemical shed.
You still using that M2 flamethrower for the thawing? The one we used on the transport treads last winter?
Yeah. It's the only thing that puts out enough sustained heat to clear the junction boxes without shattering the porcelain insulators. Got the fuel tanks pressurized and the ignition pilots primed. It's a hell of a tool for a doctor to be carrying, but out here, fire's the only thing that keeps the station breathing.
Keep it close, Doc. I've been listening to these McCready tapes, and it's not just about the ice anymore. He talks about fire as a deterrent. He says it's the only thing that, that forces the organism to show itself. If what we saw in the kitchen with the eggs just the start, that de-icer might be the only real medicine we have left.
Well, I hope you're wrong, Eric. I'd rather be melting ice than...
Eric? Klein? Anyone? It's Jack. Oh, God, his face. It's unzipping. Something was in here with him, and now he's falling apart.
Klein, you hear that? It's happening. Forget the array. Get that flamethrower down to the galley. If that thing finishes the transition, we're in a lot of trouble. Use the M2, Doc. Burn that thing.
Get in the corner. Patrick, cover your eyes. It's trying to crawl into the ceiling. I've got it.
I heard it. Jack Morales is gone. He wasn't even dead before he was replaced. Patrick said someone was in there with him. Someone fed him to that thing. That means the passenger from 31 is still standing right next to us, wearing a familiar face, waiting for their next meal. Klein used the frost torch. He used it to save us, but we only killed one of them. If McCready's journals are right, every piece that splashed off Jack before the fire hit it is its own animal now. Every drop of blood under the floorboards is a potential killer. I'm locking the comms door. I'm going to finish the last of these tapes. I need to find the test. McCready talked about a way to prove who's human. Something about the blood's will to live. I have to find it before the rest of us end up as fuel for Klein's torch. If you're still human, watch the shadows. Halverson out.
Hey, Eric. You still alive in there? I haven't heard a peep from comms since the alarms went off.
Barely, Thomas. My head's spinning. I've been sitting here in the dark, trying to make sense of these audio reels. How are things in the break room? Hernandez and Magnus still at each other's throats?
They've gone quiet. I think the shock finally hit them. It's heavy, man. Seeing Morales go out like that. It's not how any of us thought this contract would end. I'm just glad Klein had that frost torch ready. Without that fire, we'd be in real trouble.
Yeah. Fire's the only thing that works. McCready's tapes are pretty clear about that. It's the only way to be sure.
Exactly. It's like what happened in that dog kennel at 31, right? You gotta hit it hard and fast before it can find a new place to hide. Total incineration. It's the only way to stop the cells from reaching out.
The dog kennel?
Yeah, the mess in the kennel. I mean, it makes sense. If you don't burn the whole nest, you're just pruning the hedges.
Reed. I haven't told anyone about the dog kennel. I only just heard that on the third reel about 10 minutes ago. It wasn't in the written logs either. McCready only talked about it on the private journals I have in here with me.
Oh, I must have overheard you mention it earlier. Maybe over an open mic. Things are a bit of a blur right now, Eric. We're all exhausted.
I didn't have the mic open, Thomas. And I haven't left this booth since I came back from the coop. How do you know about the kennel?
Look, Eric, we're on the same team here. I'm probably just remembering something from the initial briefing. Let's just focus on the quarantine, all right? We need to figure out what to do with Magnus, especially since his blood didn't react when the heat hit the coop.
What are you talking about? I was alone when I lit the kerosene in that coop. Nobody saw that reaction but me. And it wasn't blood, Reed. It was just hay and feathers. Unless you were watching.
The hay was wet, Eric. You shouldn't have hissed like that. It sounded like... I don't know. You should have stayed and watched it burn.
He wasn't at the quarantine door. He was in the coop watching me light the fire. And he's heard the tapes. I don't know how. I don't know when. But he knows things he couldn't possibly know unless he was part of the memory. That's not Reed. He's been replaced by something that remembers everything, but it's slipping. Getting the memories tangled with what it's seeing now. I'm locking the secondary bolt. I'm not opening this door for anybody. Not for Klein, not for Patrick, and especially not for Thomas Reed. I have one reel left. The test. McCready said there's a way to make the blood jump. If I can just get to the end of this tape, maybe I can find a way to see who's still left in there. Halverson out. I finished the tapes. McCready says he figured it out. He explained it like a kind of survival instinct. He said that every single drop of that thing's alive. It's not just a part of a body, it's an entire selfish organism. If you threaten it, it reacts. If you try to burn it, it flinches. He used a heated wire, a simple piece of copper. He said, human blood will sit there and cook, but that thing, its blood will try to crawl away from the heat. It'll try to jump out of the dish to save itself. So simple. A physical truth in a world of lies. Reed's been outside my door. He stopped talking a while ago, but he still knocks. I don't think Patrick's with him anymore. I haven't heard Patrick's voice since the galley. The only one left I can even gamble on is Klein. He's the only one who's seen it. He's the only one who's fought it. I have to get him up here. I'll have to see if he'll put his blood in a dish. If he's still human, and we have that flamethrower, Maybe we have a chance to sanitize this place. I'm reaching for the radio. I'm going to bypass the intercom so Reed can't hear us. Dear God, let Klein be real. Klein, do you read? Use the headset, don't use the wall-in unit.
I'm here, Eric. I'm in the medical locker. I barricaded the door with a centrifuge. I think I heard something moving in the ceiling tiles above me.
Listen to me. I know how to find out who's who. I've got the answer from the 31 tapes. I need you to get the M2 flamethrower and get it up to the comms wing. But Klein, Reed's outside my door. He's not right. You have to come up the service ladder, not the main hall.
Reed? I saw him earlier heading towards the rec room.
No, you didn't. You saw something that looked like him. Don't look at his face, Doc. Just get here. Bring a scalpel and some glass slides. We're going to test the blood. We're going to find out who's left of us before we burn this whole damn thing to the ground. Do you trust me, Klein?
I don't think I trust anyone, Eric. But you're the one with the tapes. I'm coming. Keep the door locked until I get there.
Klein, that you?
It's me. Open the damn latch, Eric. It's freezing in these crawl spaces.
Stay where you're at. Hand the flamethrower first. Nozzle up.
I saw it, Eric. On my way through the subflooring, I saw a mass of something moving in the dark near the laundry. It wasn't human, it wasn't even animal, it was like a giant pulsing lung.
It's Reed. Or what's left of him. He was at my door 5 minutes ago. He's out there now. Waiting.
So do it. Do the damn test already. I got the scalpel.
This is my sample on the left, yours on the right. If the tape is right, if we're still us, the blood won't react to the heat. It'll just cook.
And if it's not?
Then it'll try to kill us before the wire even touches it. Ready? Starting with mine. Nothing. I'm clean. Now yours, Doc.
Oh, God. We're still here. We're still human.
Yeah. For now. But we're the only ones left, Klein. I haven't heard from Patrick or Hernandez in an hour. We have the torch, and we have the truth. It's time to sanitize the station. All right, Klein. Reed's on the other side of this door. You can hear the weight of him against the plate. You ready? The second I throw this bolt, don't look at his face. Just sweep the floor and move up.
Pilot lights on, Eric. Just give me the word.
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Now, Klein! Burn it!
It's down. Mother of God. Look at the ribs. Those aren't even human bones, Eric.
Don't look at it. Just keep the nozzle low. We're moving. You smell that? That's not the galley. That's coming from the south wing. The storage lockers.
The others. Hernandez and Magnus. They were supposed to be in the break room.
They're not in the break room anymore. I have to check storage. Klein, head to the transport bay. I don't like splitting up, man, but if that transport's our only way out, we can't let them touch it. If you see Castleholm, bring him to me, and we'll have to test him. Understand?
Got it. Stay safe, Eric.
Klein, I'm at the south storage. There's smoke everywhere. Smells like burning hair. And I see Hernandez and Magnus. They're standing in the middle of the locker bay. They're not moving, they're just watching the flames. I'm holding a test kit up. I've told them to step forward, but they're not even blinking. Magnus's coat's starting to melt onto his skin, and he's just staring through me. His jaw's hanging too low. It's unhinged. Klein, you copy? I had to hit the flamethrower. They came at me together. South wing's a furnace. Talk to me. What's happening in the bay? Eric, I hear you, and I see Castleholm.
He's under the transport chassis. He stripped the engine to the bone, and he's not even sabotaging it. He's building something. It's a hexagonal frame. It looks like a goddamn flying saucer. He's looking at me. He didn't even turn his body. Eric, just his neck. His eyes are gone. He's reaching for a gasoline drum I brought in. He's not trying to stop me. He's trying to incorporate it. I'm dropping a match. God forgive me. Do it, Klein. Light it up. It's gone. The thing he was building, the transport too. And Patrick. It's all one big bonfire. We're stuck here, Eric. We're stuck.
It's quiet now. The fires in the south wing and the hangar are down to smoldering heaps. We used every extinguisher on the station to keep the main structure from buckling, but the air isn't going to be clean for a while. It smells like plastic and gasoline. I'm sitting here at the desk. The mainland still isn't picking up. I've looped an SOS on every frequency we have left, but with the primary array iced over and the backup damage in the hangar explosion, I'm basically shouting into a void. But I'll keep trying. If I stop turning these dials, I have to think about what's actually happening in the dark hallways outside the door. We did it, though. We're the last two. Me and Klein. We contained the breach. We sanitized the crew. I watched things that used to be Hernandez and Magnus turn to ash. Klein told me how Patrick went out. How he was trying to build something out of the transport's bones right until the gasoline hit him. It's over. We won. Klein's in the medical bay now. He's been there for 3 hours trying to salvage what's left of the antibiotics and the emergency supplies. He's been a rock. If he hadn't had that frost torch, if he hadn't known the cellular logic of what we were fighting, I'd be a memory right now. He's even been checking on me, making sure I'm eating, making sure the stress isn't getting to me. He brought me a tray of canned rations an hour ago, even made me a cup of tea. He's a good man, a good doctor. But I've been sitting here, thinking about the fire in the hangar. Klein said he doused the floor in gasoline, said he stood back and dropped a match. I heard it over the radio. I even heard the sound of the vapor igniting. It was a hell of a blast. He said the heat was so intense it started buckling the support beams. Said he could barely breathe because the oxygen was being sucked right out of the room. But I'm looking at his medical coat, the one he left hanging on the back of my chair when he went to the med bay. There's a smudge on the sleeve. I thought it was grease at first, but I just touched it. It's rime ice. Crystallized frost. How does a man stand in a hangar full of burning gasoline, fire hot enough to melt a transport engine, and come back into a heated comms booth with frozen condensation on his sleeves? And why isn't he sweating? And why is his skin so pale? And then I remembered the blood test. I was the one who held the torch. I was the one who heated the wire, but Klein was the one who handed me the scalpel. He was the one who nicked his own finger. And the more I think about it, I never actually saw the blade break his skin. I just saw red hit the dish. If you can't jump away from the heat, you just bring a sample of the real thing with you. You keep a vial of Jack's blood or Patrick's blood in your pocket, and you wait for the man with the wire to ask for a test. I've been looking at the intercom button. He's going to call me any second to check in. He's going to ask if I've reached the mainland, and I'll have to answer him with a smile.